A proxy is still confusing the shit out of you. You're hearing words like anti-detect web browser, static residential, 5G mobile proxies, and you're like, dude, I just want to run Reddit accounts. All right, well, this video is for you. I'm going to explain exactly how they work and how they apply to you. All right, so the main things you need to worry about when you're connecting to platforms like Reddit or dating apps or other social media platforms, mainly for the purpose of marketing OnlyFans, because you're going to need to create multiple. Creating multiple accounts on these platforms is the whole reason you're using anti-detect web browsers and proxy addresses, because it's allowing you to create multiple accounts with the platforms thinking that each account is from a different person, from a different address, from a different IP address, because they're not stupid. They're not going to allow the same IP address, the same location to create multiple accounts, because they know what we're doing. They know we're trying to exploit their platform for getting OnlyFans subs. So the way we get around this is by tricking them into thinking that each account we create is from a different person. And the way you do this is by using an anti-detect web browser coupled with a proxy IP address. Now, what the anti-detect web browser does is that will imitate the device. So an anti-detect web browser will isolate each of the cookies, you could say, each of the windows, so that when you connect to a platform, you can trick the platform into thinking that you're on a Mac, that you're on a PC, whatever. And the thing is that each individual browser on the anti-detect web browser will look like a totally different Mac/PC. Notice I didn't say mobile device. Now, one of the questions I get asked is, how do you set up an anti-detect web browser on a mobile device? There we go, trying to do an Apple. How do you like that? And my answer to that question is, you don't. The whole reason for an anti-detect web browser is to trick the platform into thinking that you're on a Mac or PC and that you're on a different one. You cannot trick the platform from a mobile device into making the platform think that you're on a Mac or PC. Not successfully anyway. And so if you're on a mobile device, you do not use an anti-detect web browser, because the mobile device is already telling the platform that you're on a mobile device. And the only way to make the platform think that you're on different mobile devices is by using multiple. Now, there are ways around this, obviously, like using App Cloner, like using Jailbreak on iPhones, and then using separate containers so that you can create each app in an individual container, and then you'll make the platform think that each app is on a different phone, blah, blah, blah. Well, that is not going to work long term as these platforms get more and more strict. So I'm just going to explain it how we do it. All right. So you do not use an anti-detect web browser on a mobile device. You just have to use a mobile device. So if you're using Instagram or TikTok, especially, you do not use an anti-detect web browser, because these apps like it when you use a mobile device. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok like it when you use a mobile device to use their platform, because that's what they're designed for. If the platform sees that you're on a computer, they think to themselves, that's weird, it's 2024, every man and his dog owns a mobile device, so why would he be using a computer? Oh, perhaps it's to create multiple accounts. Perhaps it's to exploit our platform. So they don't like that very much. So use a mobile device for Instagram or TikTok, all right? Now I'm going to explain the proxies. All right, so there's a whole heap of proxy providers. On all my other videos, I used to mention a specific proxy provider. I used to say, this is the proxy provider that we use, get these proxies from this provider. Then what happened was the YouTube videos got older, and then when new people come along, see this old YouTube video, they go, he's telling us to use this proxy provider, so let's use it. But then they're actually getting shit proxies. And at the time when I made the video, they were not shit. So I'm not going to say what proxy providers to use anymore. I'm just going to say there's a whole list. There's actually a whole list along with SIM cards, virtual SMS numbers, and anti-detect web browsers along with a ton of other stuff inside my Supreme Leaders Empire School community. All right, now back to the video. All right, so with proxies, you might hear us talk about static residential, mobile proxies, or whatever. So what does that mean? What it means is that there are different proxies. Here is, let's say this is Facebook, all right? Or dating apps. I love heart, dating apps. Whatever. These are the platforms. You're using a proxy and you want to trick the platforms into thinking that you're real. So if you're using an anti-take web browser saying that you're from a computer, then what do computers do? Computers sit still. They don't hop around. So therefore, you want to use a static residential proxy because static means stay still and residential means house. So what do computers normally do and where are they located usually? They're normally located at a house that is standing still. So do not pick a rotating proxy. If you see this word, rotating proxy, do not pick it, because if you're using a rotating proxy from your computer, Facebook and dating apps or any other platform, they're seeing that he's using a computer. Computers normally sit still. They're normally at houses. They're normally at offices. But for some reason, the IP address is bouncing all over the shop. It's going to US, it's going to UK, it's going to Australia, it's going to New Zealand. That is really weird. That's sus. Let's just flat out ban the account. So all you need to worry about is static residential. Now, if you are creating dating apps on a mobile device and you are not using SIM cards, then you will be using mobile proxies. But that is for another video. I've made other videos on dating apps. I'm just telling you about anti-tech web browsers for the main purpose of marketing on social media accounts. And for that purpose, you'll be using static residential on an anti-tech web browser. And as I said earlier, you do not use an anti-tech web browser on a mobile device because the platform already sees that you're on a mobile device. So you cannot trick it into thinking that you're on a Mac or PC. And that is explaining it in very, very simple terms. So to wrap it up, you want a static residential along with an anti-tech web browser when using social media accounts, mainly Reddit or OF if you're just scheduling content, but if you're chatting, etc., you'll be using Inflow, which has built-in proxies. But the same thing applies. You'll only be using static residential proxies. Just remember those two words, static residential. Ignore all the other shit. No rotating, no data center, no, static residential. Why? Because static means stay still, residential means house. So therefore, when these platforms see that you're using a proxy from a house that's standing still, they go, that looks pretty legit, all right? Anyway, that's it. Now, as I was saying earlier, my school has everything that you need to start, but mainly grow your agency to 7 figures. So if you want to shortcut the process and you want to kickstart your agency into making 7 figures, then I will join this school where you'll see me and a bunch of other legends all talking OF, all grinding and all collaborating on troubleshooting all the different things that come up when you're working on OnlyFans management, just like proxies, as I was saying. So if you want to make life easier for yourself, then join the Supreme Leaders Empire School. Link is below, and there is a course in there on each platform, on marketing, as I said, on proxies, chatting scripts. That's a whole nother thing. All right. So as usual, if you like the video, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you inside the school.